gentlemen, welcome to Leadership and Politics with Dr. Abraham. With me today is a very special guest, Miss Sarah McCarthy. Sarah is the editor-in-chief of Leader to Leader Journal. Welcome to the show, Sarah.
Thank you for having me.
I'd like to introduce you to my audience, and I'd like to know more about you, what you do, a little bit about the experience with Frances, Peter Drucker, and Leader to Leader.
Wonderful to be here. I've loved reading your books, reading your articles. I've loved having you contribute to our Leader to Leader journal. Just want to thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to learning more about your audience. And a little bit about me. I'm editor-in-chief of Leader to Leader, and I think that's a great place to start with a little about me and Frances Hesselbein. So Frances Hesselbein was the former editor-in-chief of Leader to Leader, started in 1990 when she was starting the Peter F. Drucker nonprofit management center, and she wanted to have a journal that went along with that, and that the journal that she created is about leaders sharing with leaders across the sectors. And that's something that's so important for both, that was so important for both Frances and Peter Drucker, is a global functioning society. And where I come in is that I'm a communicator, leadership communicator by who I am. That's what I love to do. And so this leaders sharing with leaders has everything to do with communication. So today, Frances and I were co-editors-in-chief of the journal together, and today she's passed away. She passed away in 2022. So now I'm the editor-in-chief of the journal, and I get to bring people together to share their thoughts and ideas about leadership.
Basically, you shine light on these leaders plus your audience. So it was an honor to write for your journal with you and Bruce. So I do thank you both for allowing me to be there. So tell me a little bit about the experience with working with Frances before. I'm going to ask you a little bit about you as well and your style. But with Frances, and she passed, as you know, several years back, 101, 102?
107.
107. Tell me about the experience you have with her.
So a lot of times people ask me about my relationship with Frances, and we met in, I don't know, the early 2000s, and we met when I was working with Marshall Goldsmith as his chief executive operating officer, so running his organization. And Marshall Goldsmith is a renowned executive coach and best-selling author and a great person. It's taught everybody so much. His forte is he pioneered customized 360-degree feedback. And so I met Frances through Marshall. And Frances and I, we were colleagues. We were battle buddies. We were friends of the heart. When we first met, we just had an instant magnetic attraction to each other. I think everybody had that with Frances. I don't know a person who wasn't immediately drawn to her. We spent a lot of time together in New York, and I would come here to Pennsylvania and have, spend the weekend. And for me, I loved Frances so much. I just wanted to keep learning from her as much as I could. So in about 2018, I moved from the West Coast, where I had been living, and I moved over here to the East Coast, about a mile away from Frances's home in Pennsylvania, so that I could learn as much as I could for as long as I could from Frances. And so spent, weekends with her, learning from her, talking with her, being with her. And I cannot tell you what a gift and an extraordinary, what an extraordinary gift it's been to have that time being with Frances. Just it's just a unique and extraordinary opportunity.
I can feel it. I can feel it from your words. She like one of the first leaders that really put care in culture. Like she cared for the environment she's in, and she guided others to do the same.
Yeah, Frances lived by her battle cry was respect for all people.
Respect for all
And
people.
she was always finding the opportunity to bring everyone into the environment or the culture. One of my favorite stories about Frances is that she was all heart. And so even the name of her lipstick was all heart. Frances was a strong leader. She was a leader of great character, and she was also one of the kindest, funniest, most loving people anyone would ever want to meet.
You were the executive producer on the show, on one of the films you've done. The executive,
Um,
what did you do there?
yeah, so it's just the one film. It's
On
called
film.
Defining Moments, The Life and Leadership of Quiet Revolutionary Frances Hesselbein. It's a 45-minute documentary about Frances, which I executive produced in the last couple of years. And it's available now, not publicly, but we've been doing a lot of private screenings. I think we've done 30 in the last six months or so, and we have more being scheduled all the time. And it's very well received. We just received a Telly Award for it. We received a nomination for a Leo Award, so we'll find out about that soon. So it's being recognized, and it's inspiring people because that's just what Frances is like. That's what she does.
That's cherishing her memory. Thank you for also the invitation. I appreciate the fact you invited me for that, and I'm looking forward to be in one of these screenings anytime soon. And tell me a little bit about your relationship with Peter Drucker. Have you met Peter Drucker yourself? Have you had the chance?
No,
Mhm.
no, I never met Peter. I didn't have that pleasure. I wish I had. Frances and Peter met in 1980, and Frances was CEO of the Girl Scouts at the time. And she had studied Peter Drucker and just loved everything that she read. She used it at the Girl Scouts. She gave everyone at the Girl Scouts a copy of the Effective Executive, all the leadership team. So she really absolutely was one of those people who, you know, lived and practiced what Peter was teaching in
Mhm.
his books and in his books. And there was an event in New York, and Frances was invited, and she knew Peter was going to be there as well. So she made sure she was able to go. And the invitation said 5:30. And so when you're from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, like Frances Hesselbein, 5:30 means 5:30. So she showed up at 5:30, and there was nobody there except the bartender and a man at the bar. And so she walked up, and who did it happen to be? It was Peter Drucker.
Peter Drucker. Mhm.
And she said, she didn't really say hello or anything like that. She just said, "Do you know how important you are to the Girl Scouts?" And he said, "No, tell me." And that started a decades-long partnership between Frances and Peter.
It's lived on. And thank you to you, to Bruce, to keep in this memory alive, bring who they are to the audience. Tell me a little bit about Leader to Leader. Where are we now? Tell the audience, what is Leader to Leader? You covered that a little bit earlier. Where are you heading from now, from this point on into the future?
Leaders to Leader, because I always call it the little journal that could. It's this incredible journal comes out quarterly. Our contributors are just amazing. You're one. Our contributors are incredible contributors, incredible thought leaders. They're so well versed in their areas of expertise. We just have, the quality of our contributors is of the highest of the highest. And where we're going now is we're going into a time when information is coming out so fast, and communication information, because of technology and the need to know immediately, it's coming out so fast. And leader to leader isn't like that.
That's
We have a review process. We have a subscription-based model. We edit our work. It goes through, a submission process, an editing process, a second editing process, the editorial review that I do. It goes through a peer review process. Each article, we take so much time with it to make it, of the highest quality. Our contributors are always so happy that we're
great.
doing that, because a lot of times now, you write something and nobody looks at it when you send it in to publish it on some like
Platform.
Huffington Post or something. Nobody looks at it. It just goes up,
Mm.
and there's errors throughout. So we're keeping an eye on it. And so what I'm noticing is that now so many people, so many great contributors they're coming to us because they want that. They want
Fantastic.
that, the experience, and they know that we're going to help them put out the highest quality contribution.
I appreciate the experience I had with you. As you know, I publish in Forbes, Newsweek, and others. With you, it took more time, not necessarily long months, but took more time for second review. Remember the peer review as well. I appreciate the fact that you went through all of this. And then if there is a need to add to the article, you weren't shy. Say, please add to it. So this way, it will become more wholesome article. The contents are superb. It makes the author a better writer. It makes him appreciative of the feedback given. So
Mhm.
no, it's very impressive, and I'm looking forward for my second article with you, hopefully soon.
Great.
You are an established author. You're an executive producer. You're an editor-in-chief of Leader to Leader. You're an executive coach. Your clients are the top. What else you haven't done? What else would you like to do?
Well, I think of myself not as an executive coach, really. I think because I've worked with Marshall Goldsmith, and that's an executive coach.
What are
I
you?
think of myself as a thought partner.
Thought partner.
So, yeah, I think of myself more.
Explain to us, because as you know, are mostly thought leaders. Explain to me the difference between a thought leader and a thought partner.
Oh, the thought leader is the person who, to me, has the thought, and the thought partner, me, and I mean, I made up the definition myself.
Yes.
The thought partner, me, is the one who helps you with those thoughts.
To bring it out.
So, say I'm working with Alan Mulally, which I do, former CEO of Boeing and Ford, which I do so much on our working together leadership and management system. He has a system. He has principles and practices. He has all of the content. And now to help him align that content, we're aligning every word with what he says in his presentations, or how we do interviews or working with clients. So it's that alignment. I always think of it as I'm helping the people that I'm working with to align who they are and what they're saying so that when the recipient receives it, it makes the most sense. We really want it to come across to the participant or the recipient. Like Frances always said, she said, communication isn't saying something. Communication is being heard. And for me, I know if I haven't been heard, I have to consider re-saying what I said, but I don't want to just keep going. A lot of times I see people today with the communication goes so fast. I see people or I hear people say, oh, it doesn't really matter, just keep going. And no, it does matter.
Why does it matter?
Well, there's so many reasons. It matters because as a leader, as a thought leader, as a, you know, the words that I say and the communication I provide, it matters because as a leader, the definition of a leader is that there are people following.
Mhm.
That's really, really important. But there's also this new voice slash tool called AI. And if the words I'm using aren't what I'm trying to say, and I just pass it off, then what we're feeding into this new tool is going to come out jarbled. So I feel like it's my responsibility as a writer, as a communicator, it's my responsibility to be thoughtful about the words that I'm feeding into this new technology that we have. Also, it's important. The words that I choose are very important to the people who are listening. That's a lot of I care about the people who are listening to me or to the people that I work with.
So you feel responsible and accountable, not just putting the words out there, but you also trying to understand the impact that it may provide to these individuals listening to the message.
That's right.
That's powerful. That's powerful. That's caring right there. And then, how did you embrace AI in leader to leader? Did you embrace it in your work?
We're embracing it in that we have a lot of contributors who are writing about AI and the
Okay.
different aspects of it. So Brian Spisak, he's written an article about AI, and his area is healthcare and how it's being used there. Hamilton Mann,
Powerful there. Yes.
yeah, he's writing about artificial integrity. So
Mm.
AI, but artificial integrity. He's written a great article. So in that way, for leader to leader, it's about having an open discussion and sharing our knowledge and our expertise with those in other areas. So Hamilton Mann is sharing about artificial intelligence slash, artificial integrity. He's sharing about that with leaders and people and readers across the sectors, education, healthcare, private corporations, military, because that's our audience, goes across the sectors. So his his expertise, his article is being shared across the sectors.
You actually educate others how to use it, how to use it efficiently. And through these thought leaders that write for you, they also guide the readers. Your readers are also thought leaders or leaders, leader to leader, right?
There, anybody can pick up a
Anybody
copy.
can pick it up.
Yeah, anybody can pick up a copy of Leader to Leader. Yeah.
And they have to subscribe. It's subscription based.
It's subscription based. So we have an online subscription, we have a hard copy subscription, and we have one that's both.
What else do you want to tell us about yourself?
Well, I don't know. What would you like to know?
What else do you want to achieve? Let's say you've been done this, done that, something you haven't done but you wish to have, dream of.
I love what I do. I was thinking this morning that, yeah, I'm just so fortunate that I love what I do. I am one of those people who's I don't need to retire because I've
And never
been
retire.
I've been reading and writing since I was 3 years old, and my whole life has been this. So I can't imagine I'm going to stop reading and writing when I get to retirement age. I was thinking about that because my sister is talking about retiring, and I think that's because she's doing a job that is maybe not, coming
What she
from,
likes. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm,
it's
yeah.
it's it's like that.
How important is you like the job that you do?
Oh, for me, it's so important. We wrote a book on it, Work is Love Made Visible, which is
Mm,
based on a quote from the book The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. And I love this quote, which is why it opens the book. And
what does the quote say?
the quote says, work is love made visible.
Mm,
If you can't work with love, but only with distaste, it is better that you should leave your work and sit at the gate of the temple and take alms of the people who work with joy.
that's
Kahil Gabor.
impressive. This is very impressive. What else do you want to talk about?
The Leader to Leader Journal, which is part of the Frances Hesselbein Leadership Forum,
Okay.
which is at the University of Pittsburgh. And that's where, I mean, to me, that's really important because at the University of Pittsburgh, there's Frances's archives. So if people want to learn more about Frances Hesselbein, they can go to the University of Pittsburgh archives department, and all of Frances's papers and artifacts are, a lot of them are at the University of
How did
Pittsburgh.
this relationship between Francis and the university happen? Because you see Peter with Claremont, Francis with Pittsburgh. How did this thing happen?
So Frances was born and raised in Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
She was born in 1915. She passed away in 2022. Life bookended by pandemics, Spanish flu, and COVID, and everything that happened in between. She lived in Johnstown for the first 50 or 55 years of her life. Um, and as part of that experience, she went to, though she didn't go to college. When she was 17, she was going to go to college in Philadelphia, and her father passed away. So she stayed instead in Johnstown and took care of her mom and her two siblings. So she got herself a job and she worked every day and went to night school at night at the University of Pittsburgh, Johnstown. So that's the tie to University of Pittsburgh and Johnstown for Frances.
For Francis.
Mhm.
Very impressive. You made people love her more. We're gonna read more about her now. I hope so. I hope the interview like this shines a light on what you do, because Bruce kind of cherished the memory of Drucker, and you too under your leadership. And you're cherishing the memory of Frances. You really with all she did and without you shining a light on what she does. Leaders and thoughts, they fade with time. Unless we have someone a reminder all the time. This is what they've done. This is what they've done. This is what they've done. Jesus outlived us because of the Bible, and people continued his message. And the same thing with thoughts, and the same thing with leaders like this. So I do thank you for allowing us to know Francis, for allowing us to know Drucker, for allowing us to know you, because you by yourself also an achiever, and I'm sure you have contributed and still contributing to the business, to thought leadership, the discipline itself. So I do thank you. I'm very honored to meet you today. I'm looking forward to seeing you in person whenever that time comes.
Me too. It was so nice to be here. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Anything you want to tell the audience? Closing remarks?
Oh, well, so thank you so much for listening. And if you would like to see the documentary, you can go to our list of scheduled screenings at sarahmcarthur.com and just click on documentary, and you can come to one of the screenings. Love to see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. sarahmcarthur.com, the author, coach, the life coach, the thought partner. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.